So let's go on and do the second style real quick. We're going to be doing this one. And very similar, so I'll kind of move through this one more quickly because we're doing the same basic steps, just slightly different shape. But you are going to be using still 20 gauge wire, and you're going to want to cut 2 pieces of this. One piece is going to make the face and one piece is going to make the outline. So the face, we're going to go ahead and cut 6 inches. Oops, bumped my camera there. A 6-inch piece, and that's going to be about 15.5 centimeters. And then for the outline or frame of it, we're going to do a 5-inch piece, and that's going to be about 13 centimeters. And again, I recommend starting with a little extra the first time you're doing it. So go ahead and take your longer piece, the 6-inch piece we just made, and we're going to make this little face shape again. Exactly like the other one, we're just going to start with a U-shaped bend, and we're going to work from the beak upward, making it symmetrical. So using my chain nose pliers, I'm going to tighten that on down. And then open it back up just a bit. And I'm going to use my little outline here to help me shape it. Okay, and then we'll just form these little swirls on either side. And I like to use my hands for that, at least to get it started. And one note, it doesn't have to match the outline exactly. This is kind of a guide, as long as you're getting roughly the same shape and you know, all the important points are the same. You do have a little bit of leeway, so don't feel like you have to spend forever getting it to be a carbon copy match of the printable outline I'm giving you guys. So now that we've got this, I'm going to once again take the ends. I'm going to use those as a place to seat our beads. So that last little bit I'm just going to bend up. And do the same thing on the other side. So as before, I'm going to go ahead and hammer this out lightly. Again, this is optional, but I'm going to go ahead and do it. Alright, so I hammered this out and I went ahead and reshaped it just a tad because things tend to spread out when you hammer them. But we're going to go ahead and insert the eyes now. Same way as we did the others, I'm going to tilt up these little ends just enough that you can slide a bead on there. And then we can smush that back down in there so it's not going to go anywhere. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. Just tilting it up there. Alright, so there you have your cute little owl face. And all we need to do for this guy now is make the outline once again. So we're going to do this shape next. Let's go ahead and pull out your 5-inch piece. And we're just going to shape it to this exact thing. So we're going to do a circle. And once you've got the diameter right, what we're going to do with the ends is take the midpoint where they're meeting. I'm going to bend one of them straight up. And then the other one we're going to wrap around it. Just like this. And we're going to put a few wraps around it here. And let me move this so the camera can focus now. And we're going to create a little place where you can hang a bail. On this owl style, we're going to put a bail that you can thread through a chain to turn this into a pendant necklace. So I'm going to do about 2 wraps on there and then trim off the excess. You can do more if you want to, that's totally fine. I think 2 is enough. And I'll just tighten down that end. And then for this other guy, we're going to make a little loop. So let me take him off to the side, just like that. Switch to round nose pliers. And I'm going to make this a fairly small, tight circle, because we don't want to detract from the owl face too much. So just snip off the excess here. I find that with the 20 gauge, this is strong enough that it's not going to pop open, so you don't actually need to wrap that second end around the base. And we'll just close this on up here. And I'm going to hammer this out as well. So we've got our frame and we've got our owl face, and all we need to do now is attach the two together. And I'm going to do that with some 26 gauge wire, just round dead soft again. I'm going to cut 3 lengths of this. They don't have to be exact, but let's see here. About, I don't know, 1 3/4 inch should be very sufficient. About 4.5 centimeters. Again, you don't really have to measure that. I just kind of wing it on these guys, but I'm going to go ahead and cut 3. So 1, 2, and 3. And again, I'm using 26 gauge round dead soft wire. I'm just going to take all 3 of these together. I'm going to put a little U shape in them, kind of just prepping them for use. And I'm going to put 2 of them aside and hang on to 1. What we're going to do, let me close this up here, it got a little bit spread out for some reason. What we're going to do is attach at 3 points here. We're going to attach on either side of his eyes and then at the beak. So let's go ahead and start with one of the eye sides. I'm just going to drop that little U-shaped piece we made right like so. And I'm going to use chain nose pliers to pinch that down. And we're just going to start wrapping it. Oh yeah, this is plenty of wire. You could probably get away with cutting less than this, but always better to err on the side of having excess. So I'm just wrapping around here. We're going to want quite a few wraps because this 26 gauge wire is not the sturdiest stuff. And we want to make sure this is secure and is not going to go anywhere for us. Alright, and before I get that too tight, I'm just going to make sure that my face is still centered here, because we want this bail to be straight up and down in a line with the beak. Okay, and before I snip those ends off, I'm actually going to do the same thing on the other side. So pulling out another one of your little pieces, we'll do the same thing over here. Alright, and as you can see, we've shifted significantly. No big deal. I'm just going to scooch these on down and get them recentered a little bit. Okay, so at this point we've got two kind of placeholder wraps here, and now what I'm going to do is really make sure this is perfectly centered and how I want, and then I'm going to finish off both of these side wraps, making sure that they are nice and snug, so that this isn't going to shift around anymore. I've got a little bit of excess wire here, which I'm just going to trim off. And snug, oops, sorry about that, and snug down the ends. And it kind of looks like we wound up with a few more wraps on this side than on this side. So I'm going to go ahead and fix that by removing two wraps on this side, just so it's nice and symmetrical. There we go. Yeah, that looks a lot better, more symmetrical. And we're just going to do the beak next. You do want to have 3 points of connection here so that it's not going to move around too much on your frame. So for the beak, I did one right in the center. I'm going to do a second wrap through the center here at kind of the tip of the beak. And then what I'm going to do is actually switch over to wrapping it just on the frame. And we're going to put 2 wraps on each side of the frame here. And let's trim off that excess. So with the second tail, again, we're going to just go around the frame now, not the beak. Like so. And we'll do 2 wraps. And cut off the excess. And then I like to kind of just do this to smush all the wraps a little bit closer to each other. And there we go. That is nice and connected to the frame. You can go ahead and tweak anything that you feel needs a little bit of tweaking. And this guy is good to go. All you need to do is add a little bail through the loop here. I do have a tutorial on how to make your own bail. If you want to click again that lowercase I in the upper right hand corner of your screen, I will include a link to that tutorial. Or you can buy a store-bought bail and very simply just put it on here to hang like I did on this guy. So I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial and found these owls cute and not too difficult to make. If you run into any issues, feel free to leave a comment below if you had a question on how to make this, or if you have an idea for a future tutorial you might like to see. I am open to suggestions if it's something feasible that I can do. Please do take a moment to check the description section below. Of course, in addition to downloading the template for these pendants, I also have down there a link to my Etsy shop and my Facebook page. And if you could take a moment to check those out, I would greatly appreciate that. Please do as well subscribe for more tutorials, and give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Thanks so much for watching, and happy crafting!